Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the functional area on the supralateral surface of brain. Let me take the history. The Convenient Brodmann, he was a German neurologist who divided the cerebrum into 52 small area for the pinpoint location. Then we're going to learn about the supralateral surface. First we can discuss about the area number 4, which is present in the precentral gyrus, and it is between the central sulcus and the precentral sulcus. Then that area it is called as the precentral gyrus. On the medial surface there we can see another the continuation of the uh, central sulcus and the precentral sulcus. That area it is called as the paracentral lobule. That also includes the area number 4. So the main function of that area, or that area, it is otherwise called as the primary motor cortex. It is responsible for executing the motor movements, which includes the contralateral finger, hand, or wrist, or orofacial movements. Then a lesion occurs on that region that may causes the contralateral paralysis and Jacksonian fist. The Jacksonian fist means the person's muscles become rigid and he or she would make sudden jerk, including turning of the head. This kind of disturbance of the functions begins in one part of the body and that spreads to adjoining area. So that's the area number 4. Then we are discussing about the area number 6, which is seen just in front of the area number 4, or the precentral gyrus, and just behind the frontal gyri, and just in front of precentral gyrus. That area it is called as the area number 6, or the premotor or the supplementary motor area. This region is critical for the sensory guidance of movements and control of proximal and trunk muscles, and contribute to planning of complex and coordinate motor movements. The main function is mainly functioning the language memory functions like smiling, inter limb coordination, speech motor programming, etc. That's the main function of this area. Then any lesion occurs on that region that may causes, often mixed with the pyramidal effect. That's the clinical importance of area number 6. Then we're discussing about the area number 8. The area number 8, which is seen just in front of the precentral gyrus and behind the frontal gyri. That region is called as the motor association area, or the motor association cortex, which includes the movement throughout the body, including the motor speech movement. Then the area number 8 is specialized for frontal eye field. Area number 8 is specialized for frontal eye field. When lesion occurs on this region, that may causes horizontal conjugate movements are lost. So that's a lesion occurs when the lesion occurs on area number 8. Then we're going to discuss about area number 44 and 45. The area number 44 and 45 are then that area it is otherwise called as the motor speech area, or area of Broca. Area of Broca. Then the motor speech programming include being able to put together the the binding elements of language. Then the clinical significance or lesion occurs on this region that may causes aphasia. This verbal aphasia may occurs, that may motor inability. So that when any lesion occurs on that region, that may causes loss of ability to speech. Then we are going to learn about the area number 10, or the prefrontal area number 10. Then the main function of this area, it is the strategic processes of movement, retrieval and executive functions such as problem solving, planning, execution, decision making, etc. That's the area number 10, that also present on the medial side of the brain also. So that's the main function of area number 10. So that area, it is called as the prefrontal area. That area it's called as prefrontal area, and area that coding the area number 10. Then we are going to learn about the functional area which is present in the parietal lobe. That areas are the primary somatosensory cortex or primary somatosensory area, that area number 312. The area number 312, they are otherwise called as the primary somatosensory area, which is seen just behind the central sulcus and just in front of the post-central sulcus. There we can see an gyrus. That gyrus, it is called as the post-central gyrus. That post-central gyrus is called for the primary somatosensory cortex. Then the main function of this area, when in the localization of touch, temperature, vibration and pain, and sensory perceptions, discrimination and proprioception, etc., and skilled and coordinated movement like orofacial movements. That's the function of area number 312. When lesion occurs on this region, that may causes loss of appreciation of the impulses received. We don't get the proper information what happened in our body. That's the when a lesion occurs on this somatosensory area, or area number 312. Then we are going to learn about another area. It is called as area number 7, or the parietal area. The area number 7. The area number 7, it is otherwise called as the parietal area, which is present between the sensory and visual area. That we can, here we can see this sensory motor sensory area, sensory area, and posteriorly towards the occipital lobe, that we can see the visual area. Then just between these two area, there we can see an area, it is called as the area number 7. That area, it is otherwise called as the parietal area. Then the main functions, the somatosensory association cortex is that they are coordinate the movement. When lesion occurs on this area, that may causes sensory aphasia. That may causes sensory aphasia. Then we are going to learn about the functional area on the occipital lobe. The occipital lobe. There we can see, the first we can discuss about the area number 17. The area number 17, it is otherwise called as the primary visual area. The primary visual area. Then the primary visual area, then the visual cortex, which is located in this occipital lobe in back of the brain, and that contain well-defined map of spatial informations required for vision. So this area number 17, it is called as the primary visual area. Then just behind the primary visual area, there we can see another area, it is called as the secondary visual area. The secondary visual area, and again behind the secondary visual area, there we can see another area. That area is called as the visual associative visual cortex, or the visual associative area. Then both secondary visual area and visual association area, which the function are collateral or the correlations of visual impulses with the past experience or the past memory and recognition of object seen, and also the depth that also felt by this with the help of this area number 18 and 19. So when a lesion occurs on this region or the area number 17, that may causes homonymous hemianopia with macular sparing, and the area number 17 and 18, that means the secondary visual area, that may causes visual agnosia. Then the functional area which is present in the temporal lobe. The area number 41 and 42, area number 41 and 42, which is seen in the posterior part of superior temporal gyrus and the anterior transverse temporal gyrus. There we can see that towards the posteriorly, there we can see area number 41 and 42. Then the function of this area, that this area which is responsible for reception and perception of isolated auditory impulses of loudness and quality and pitch. Then when that means this area, it is otherwise called as the auditory area. This area is responsible for hearing. When a lesion occurs on this area, that may causes impaired hearing. A lesion occurs on this area, that may causes impaired hearing. So this area it is called as the area number 41 and 42. So this area is called as the area number 41 and 42, or the auditory area. When a lesion occurs on that region, that may causes loss of ability to hear. Then area number 22, which is present close to the auditory area, that is otherwise called as the audito-psychic area. Then the function of this area is correlation of auditory impulses with the past memory or past experience, and identification of the sound we already heard. So that region, it is called as the audito-psychic area. That's the area number 22. When lesion occurs on this region, that may causes auditory agnosia. So we can hear the word, we can read the word, but we don't understand what was the actual word. We can't produce what it is. So that's the inability, or that's that kind of disease is called as a auditory agnosia. So these are the functional areas, some of the functional area which is present on the supralateral surface of brain. Thank you.